And lastly, this is the last story I want to share with you today because it's extremely important that we understand how to walk this stuff out. And so I live in a community that's not a very diverse community. And so I'm hanging out at a restaurant, and it's about 10:30 in the morning, and an individual is already there. He's obviously been there for most of the morning. I mean, it's 10:30, so he couldn't have been there too long, but he's already drunk. He's slurred. He has slurred speech. His face is red. I mean, it's just the guy's just a mess. And so I take note of him. And so I know where everybody is and all that kind of stuff. So I make my order. I have them, create my lunch for me so that I can take it on my journey for the day. And so I order from the menu. I fold the menu, give it back to the bar staff. And the guy at the end of the bar, the drunk guy, has moved from the end of the bar and sat right next to me. And I know you know what I'm thinking, like, oh my goodness. Because first of all, I'm not afraid of drunk people, but they are unpredictable. And so, we sit there and we're talking and we're having conversation. And so he leans over to me and he says, I don't like the N-word. Now, he said the real word. He didn't say my edited version of it. The word that your grandparents used to talk about Brazil nuts. Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, you do. And if not, I'm not passing out fruit. All right. So he says, I don't like the N-word. And so I just kind of take a breath back and I do what any good Minnesotan would do. And I try to change the subject. So I started talking about something else, but something in my spirit said, go back to that. Go back and talk about what he was talking about. And so I said, sir, well, when you use that word, what are you talking about? And he says, I'm talking about people who are on welfare. I'm talking about people who are ghetto, who are uneducated, who, don't know how to speak well. And I said, I said, well, do you know any white people who fit that description? And he looks at me and he says, yeah. And I said, okay, that's cool. How about let's talk about baseball. And so we started talking about baseball and all this other stuff. And then he comes back to me and he says, man, I don't like the N-word, but I like you. And so now I'm like shocked and surprised. I'm not quite sure what to do with that information. But I say, sir, well, what is it about me that you like? What is it about me that you think is so special or unique? And he said, well, you're articulate. You have a good head on your shoulders. You make a lot of sense. I can communicate with you. You seem like a cool guy. And I said, well, that's all well and good. But what if all the people that you've met, all the people who you think look like me, all the people who you've encountered that you think are that N-word were idiots? What if all of them were idiots? And all of the people that you haven't met yet are just like me. And he looks at me and he says, I gotta pee. So he stumbles off into the restroom. I'm like, I haven't had to get into a fight. There's nothing going on. This guy is just crazy, but let me get out of here. So I try to get I pay for my check. I've got my receipt. I'm headed towards the door. And guess who meets me at the door? You bet it. You got it. It's the guy from the bar. But he looks a little bit different. His hair's combed over to the side. He's got water driplets coming off his face. And he has a damp towel in his hand. And he reaches out to me and he says, I raise chickens. If you ever need fresh eggs, give me a call. And he hands me the napkin. I take the napkin. I go my way and he goes his way. What happened? I was able to show this man dignity and honor in being human. Would you have blamed me if I had given that guy a piece of my mind? He called me a dirty, nasty name. I shouldn't have to take that. If I had given him a piece of my mind, what do you think would have been the result of that? I would have solidified everything that he thought about people who he thinks look like me. And so all too often we want to be right, but we don't do the right thing. And it's easy for someone to say, well, you were a doormat in that situation. You shouldn't have taken that. You blah, blah, blah. And I'm not asking you to do things the way that I do, but I want you to think about the things that you do. And in which ways are you being narcissistic and thinking of yourself as a doormat? You want to be the martyr for your cause. And at what point do you become a bridge to help someone get someplace? My name is Andre Cohen, and this is our Diversity Talk for today. Have a great one. Bye.